Hey, welcome to the Soul Legacy TV, Spiritual Business Success with Iona. Welcome to the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast. And I laugh because I've got a YouTube podcast going on. So, welcome to this episode. It is Relationship Freedom Friday. I'm super excited about this episode. I believe that it's my favorite day. So, relationships, we're going to be talking about soul family and soul tribe impact for spiritual entrepreneurs. So, welcome. If you are new to me, consider subscribing to the Soul Legacy TV on YouTube and listen along to this podcast. If you're watching in the Soul Legacy Academy and you are one of my students, then welcome. I've seen that somebody's liked it and somebody is on here. If you leave a comment, then I can pull it up and we can have a conversation because I love Fridays. It tends to be that lots of people then pop up on a Friday. So in this episode of the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast, I want to talk about relationships and soul family. And so depending on, and I'm going to break the podcast down into the parts that I usually talk about, but I want to talk about and have a conversation about soul family. So what does soul family mean to you? I don't know if you resonate with this as a light worker, as a spiritual entrepreneur. For me, family, and I'm staying with a friend and she's got signs all over her house. Like family are the friends. No, what is it? Family are the friends that you choose to be family, something like that. But like just we choose our family, we choose to be birthed in the world, in the place, we choose our parents. I know that we often say if you have children, our children choose us, but that means that we chose the families that we're in, and not always do we feel like we fit in. I definitely didn't feel like I fit in. I'm good with it, and I'm good with my family. I love my family. We've got like that ride or die family. Like if you're gonna, I can say what I want, but you can't. You know what I mean? We've got that, and I love that. And there's a lot of love and a lot of that protection because I'm the youngest of seven. So I'm really deeply grateful for my family. However, the relationships with my family don't necessarily feel the same as the family, like the soul family and the soul tribe. And that's why I wanted to build the Soul Legacy TV to attract my soul tribe. I love it. I love meeting different people. And when I had built my community of the spiritual business women, we were like soul sisters, soul brothers, soul family. Everybody felt like soul family. And I wanted to build a community where I thought it was last for life, and it didn't, but it did serve the purpose of understanding that really deep connection that you can have with like minds. And so before I dive into the episode, I wanted to share and just have a conversation with where I'm at in terms of my relationships. And I set the intention as we're here. It's a very practical episode of setting your intentions and visualizing and journaling together, taking our next steps, talking about rating our vibrational frequency and our vision boards and our gratitude and our next steps, how we launch our day, lead our day, and playing the soul income game for financial freedom because our money comes through people. And then talking about the book, and which is the 5 love languages. Do you know your love language? It's kind of sunny. I'm showing the book on the YouTube channel. There are many different books from the author, Dr. Gary Chapman. And then I will invite you to SBYN to come and have a relationship, on a call with Light Mind Soul Family, so I can support you in your soul tribe impact. I love it. Before I dive into that, I wanted to just say that, this is for me first. This YouTube podcast is for me first, and to see, outwardly what I am actually manifesting and taking notice of that and raising my own vibrational frequency. There's a lot that I'd covered throughout this week on the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast, setting intentions for different areas, all what I call the Seven Freedoms. So I go live daily talking about contribution freedom, health freedom, emotional freedom, environmental freedom. Today is financial relationship freedom for Friday, spiritual freedom and financial freedom. And it's kind of like throughout the week, we merge the areas of our life and not in isolation. I'm like, yeah, I'll save that for Relationship Freedom Friday. And so I was saying that, you know, where I'm at as a spiritual entrepreneur doing my light work, creating a life purpose led business, the relationships that I build, on and offline, just always feel very meaningful. Like having my vision board manifest in the most miraculous ways. And so I had a conversation today, building new relationships, right? So I did my vision board challenge in mid-July, and I'll do it again. So you can join me on the Salt Legacy TV, and if you're a student, then you'll go through that with me, on the second week in December, Monday to Sunday at 7:30 p.m. UK time. And so doing my vision board and then getting ready to do my vision board in December, I'm like, oh, you know, the things that manifest. And so a conversation that I had today was one of this, and I looked on my vision board today and it's not actually on there, but I thought it was, which is the point. Like there's two things that I wanted to be on there, was volunteering for a charity called Compassionate Friends. And since the vision board, so much has happened since then in ways that I could not have imagined. And I'm like, oh, wow. So I'll tell more of the story like towards the end of the year when I see the comparison to what I've manifested and I'm checking off. And then the second thing was, I've been talking about relationships and, you know, me fostering for a year, kinship fostering. And I've just had a conversation with a lady from a charity for kinship fostering. And I did not know I was going to have this conversation even up until like last Friday. But I knew that I wanted to do that. And I followed the nudges from the universe and the signs, right? And so I got an email. I was saying actually that I'd got an email that I didn't know from my social worker. And then that led me to this email. And then I filled out the application form, which led me to this call, because that's how manifestation happens, right? And so I got on this call today, and I think we were on the phone for about an hour. And this lady is from, we say in the UK, from up north, like there's different southwest, north, whatever. And I'm down south now, but she says I'm from up north, and we're quite straight talking, which I am, you know, also. And so we just had a really beautiful conversation, basically. And she said that she has a vision, and this vision is on her wall. And it's actually on a corkboard, not on a board. And it's been there for 3 years, and this is what she wanted to bring into the charity and the organization. And I said, you know, what's on this board? I wanted to know, you know, intrigued. And she described what, you know, some of what she had envisioned, and, you know, filtering through. And I said, do you know what? That is like music to my ears. And she said, why? And I said, I'd known that fostering was going to be in my path like 20 years ago, you know, when you have that vision. And I didn't know why. And I said, I just knew it was more. So I was fostering for Relationship Freedom Friday. I was fostering 3 children under 5 for a year, which actually led to burnout. And I was saying that to her today. And this burnout came from like absolutely nowhere. I feel amazing now because I've been living intentionally and doing these practices. And so she said, and I said, like, I know that there's other people out there that are experiencing that. And I didn't know anything about kinship fostering 20 years ago. Like I had no clue. Anyway, when I said, you know, I just know that there's more. And within the conversation, I could see myself fitting in with the vision of, she used the words co-creation. I was like, yes, co-creating like a project. And she's like, yeah, I'd love to have you on board with that. I said, yeah, I'm in, count me in. Didn't even need to go into master. I'm like, count me in. And I love that. I love the way that things manifesting. And I just follow those nudges and those signs. So the soul family influence and the soul tribe impact, like just knowing who your soul tribe are, like you're watching this, and knowing your soul family, I believe in doing what I'm doing with the fostering and with the bereaved parents and the what have you. It's just something that I feel called to do in alongside having the freedom in my business for the Soul Legacy Academy to be able to add things and know that I can fit it in my schedule. And this isn't just my only focus. And I love, and so the relationship freedom, being able to welcome something in my world like that, I'm like, oh, wow. I'm just literally blown away by it. And she said, serendipity. I said, absolutely. Like, I'm like, universe said. It's just beautiful. So what are you manifesting? You know, are you manifesting? Are you in alignment? Are things coming to you in the way that doesn't feel forced? It feels like what I call ease, grace, and flow. So hopefully it does. What I'm going to do is dive into the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast, and I talk about having spiritual business success and what life work balance means to you. And over this last week, me not being in this place and being in a different environment and doing the summit, the Spiritual Awakening annual YouTube summit in a different environment and with different relationships. And I said that I'd talk about this relationship as well, the soulmate relationship, and how that came about, again, not through forcing, just as in I sat there on an app. I want to develop a dating app as well for Awakened Soulmates, spiritual dating. A marriage CV, because I'm dating for marriage, apparently, which I'm actually not really dating that much, but yeah, we did go out on a date, kind of. I think if that was supposed to be a date, I don't know. Like we had seen each other before this soulmate connection over this last few years. There's a lot of, it's kind of like a love story, but it isn't. And so I'd sat and I was like, okay, I'm gonna manifest. I've been listening to Dolores Cannon and manifesting. I'm like, this is it. On, was it Saturday? I'm gonna last Sunday, I'm gonna manifest my soulmate. That's it. Like, it's coming. So I'm sitting on the dating app on Bumble specifically. I manifested my twin flame, and from there, so I'm like, yeah, it worked. So this guy, we've got history in terms of the synchronicities. And I was saying yesterday about reading the book, and I had his book in my hand, and I said, you know, I bought this book, You Were Born to Speak, and I said in my book, You Were Born to Serve. It inspired me. And as we were driving back here, in the car, I actually have the Audible version as well. I was like, oh, I didn't even realize I had the Audible version. I don't know why. But so I'm sitting there on this dating app and I'm saying, I'm going to manifest my husband. That's it. And so we had not really been speaking. I was speaking to somebody else. I'm like, that's the past. I don't need to be speaking to you, you know, that kind of thing. So I don't mix that. So anyway, so I'm like swiping on this dating app. And so Iona Meade gets an idea in my head. And I'm like, I don't know, just make it fun. If it's not fun, one of my biggest values is making things fun. So I'm sitting here like, because if you've ever been on a dating app, it can be draining, right? And tedious and like, yeah, all the things. And so I'm like, all right, I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3. Just testing out the universe. 1, 2, 3. Manifest my soulmate. No, not him. 1, 2, 3. It's going to be him. No, it's not him. 1, 2. Ooh, no, not him. Oh, it's not him. So I've done this a few times and I'm like, okay, feel into it. This is going to work. 1, 2, 3. Not him. 1, 2, 3. And this guy, soulmate connection, comes up. We're like, no, why have you come back into my world, dude? So we'd not had each other's numbers. No, we were on Telegram. He'd not had my number, which that never happened in like 3 years. And I was like, he's like, well, I thought you were not talking to me and you were talking to somebody else. I said it was about the person. Anyway, long story short, I ended up over there for like 3 days or however long, from Monday to yesterday, whatever, 4 days, whatever it was. And it was amazing. And You Were Born to Speak came to me. And a different vibration in terms of, oh, I'm going to put a new order out to the universe for my husband, and say I'm going to manifest my husband, not just my soulmate, because I did manifest my soulmate and he was back. And I'm like, universe, what is it? I'm like, try this on again, okay? I tried it on, I took it off. I've definitely taken it off. And I'm like, whatever, like, this is my person. I know how I want to feel. So therefore, I've had the contrast, and I'm like, yeah, that's not the feeling that I'm going for. I'm going for a different feeling. So I'm just like somebody who speaks my love languages, somebody who blah blah blah. And yeah, so that's where I'm at with relationships. In terms of relationship with me, I feel amazing, really, really amazing. I've got relationships around me, relationship with my daughter is just like, and my soul daughter in family and my friends, and just, yeah, really, really cool. I've just had a conversation with my friend who I'm saying we've known for each other for over 30 years, and we've just had a really lovely conversation as well. And it's just when you just feel really good. And my daughter is out in Greece on holiday. She had relationships that not her particularly, but just that extended parent, I would say, that isn't in alignment with our values, that just helped us see about our relationship and how strong it is. So whatever is manifesting for you, there's my ramble. Hopefully it is supporting you, my work, relationships, doing the summit and having all the conversations that I've been having, and seeing other people. I'm like, yeah, I want you on the podcast, you on the YouTube podcast, you on the summit, you on the, just feels epic, absolutely epic. I just feel there's so much to do in the world that, to be a part of making a difference and making a change just feels amazing. So here I am with you. So let's dive into the episode. Let's do our rating for Relationship Freedom Friday. And so if you've never done the rating with me before, here's where we say, how in soul flow do you feel? Do you feel in soul funk or in soul flow? Meaning, do you feel like nothing's going right? I can't bother. Don't feel motivated. Like around your relationships, or there's toxicity, or there's negativity, or there's whatever. How in flow do you feel with a relationship with you and you? Because that's what really matters. Do you feel good? Have you dropped off? Like, how do you feel? If nobody's asked you today, how do you feel? Hopefully you feel amazing. And if you don't feel amazing, that's okay. What we are going to do is rate our vibrational frequency between a 1 and 11. 1 being and 11 being, yes, Iona, I feel so good. Like, relationships are manifesting. Soul clients, soul tribe, soul family influence. It's all good. It's just, couldn't ask for any better. Relationship with me is just amazing. Let me know how your relationship goes, how it is going, rated between a 1 and 11. Then I want to talk about in the next segment, vision boarding. Do you vision board? I'm hoping that you do, and you visualize, because we know that the brain thinks in images, right? And so I have a 7-day free 7-day spiritual vision board challenge. And again, I do it live. There's replays on the YouTube channel of Soul Legacy TV. You'll find the playlist and stuff. If you search YouTube and search Iona Meade or at Soul Legacy TV, you'll find it. And so in that vision board challenge, I break down our life into these 7 areas, right? And including relationships. And it just allows you to see what it is that you've manifested up until now and what it is that you want to manifest. I know that, just being a volunteer and getting involved in the organizations, I know that that is part of my path. You know what I mean? When things just disrupt your spirit, like you can't stand to see it, like it's okay, what am I going to do about it? So rate your vibrational frequency between a 1 and 11. 11 is like in alignment with your North Star, your higher self, not the humanness that's pushing and pulling you, like, and telling you all the mind chatter and all the things, right? When we do our vision board, and if you play the vision board and you have images on your vision board and you play the vision board montage, is it going great? I will say that I noticed on my vision board when I had played it, I was like, oh, okay, some of the relationships had dropped off as I've moved and life has changed and what have you. And I think that when I do my vision board again in December, I will take certain things off because they're not as important to me as they once were. And just sitting with it is what I think. And you know what? People, you outgrow certain people, but the things and the people that are on there that I really like, yeah, the bonds have got even stronger. And so that feels really, really good. So, we're not just putting things on a quote board and like, this is what you want to manifest, and you just try it on and you take it off. So I've got a couple of things to take off actually. And I've done that over time. I have done that over time. As long as you feel good, then that's all that matters. So let's move into the next segment, which is the Cheers to Financial Freedom frequency, gratitude. So this Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast is about living an intentional life, creating those spiritual rituals and routines around raising your own vibration, so you're manifesting what it is that you want to experience, right? It sounds simple. It's not always so simple, right? I know my hair. It's not always so simple, and we know, and it's okay. It's okay to not beat yourself up, but we want to be grateful for the things that we do have. So living intentionally, I use the acronym to remind me of the 7 areas. So again, on Mondays we talk about health, contribution freedom, and health freedom Tuesdays, emotional freedom Wednesdays. This is a Cheers acronym, so each letter. Environmental freedom Thursdays, relationship freedom Friday, which is today, spiritual freedom Saturday, and financial freedom Sunday. And I want to say actually that I teach my students to do their own days of whatever it is that you want to do on your own YouTube podcast. And so one of my students, who was a soul-guided instructor, said, she posted it on Facebook, that her granddaughter said, Grandma, is it not like heart energy, heart chakra energy today, which was Thursday? And she's like, yes, baby girl, it is. So, this is the legacy, the things that we do. Imagine passing down that awareness and living more intentionally in things that are important to you, because the next generation are watching us. And again, me doing the fostering and being involved in that, the next generation are watching us. If we can do better, then we're passing that on to the next generation. And my movement is to improve the mental health and well-being of our nation and our future generation. And I think that's what's coming into my world, doing this work in the world, but also doing other work that I've worked with children since I was 14. And so that direct impact is just, or indirect impact is amazing. So let's express gratitude. So in terms of contribution, I don't have my gratitude rock stone, my love heart. I don't know where it is. I think it's on my bed. Oh dear. Anyway, we'll do it without it. We'll do it without it. All right. So I'm happy and I'm grateful. I appreciate in terms of contribution. Oh wow, contribution that I'm able to make as a volunteer and that people make as volunteers. I haven't done the role yet, but just offering that is amazing. Just knowing that I have space and room is amazing. I'm happy and I'm great. So I'm happy and grateful for the phone call that I had today. I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate, and I'm happy and grateful for the organization itself, because I've had a look at it and I'm like, yeah, they've rapidly grown to support a lot of people. I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate health. I feel amazing. I'm eating in my fasting window and I feel absolutely amazing. I feel the best that I felt in a really, really long time. So I'm happy and grateful for the knowledge that I have on what works for me. I'm happy and I'm grateful and appreciate emotionally. I had an emotional reset being out in nature, just that little bit more, just a different environment, because London's amazing and it's got many, many opportunities. But also I used to be a city girl and I'm more of a country girl now, I think. And ultimately I'm a beach girl, but I want to have a barn conversion. That's on my vision board. And that it's around the place that I went to for the last few days is around there. So it feels like home, not in the home that I was in, but it feels like home. The area feels like home. That makes sense. So I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate for that emotional reset, really. I'm happy. I mean, it's expressing gratitude. I'm living an intentional life and I'm sharing my gratitude with you out loud on the podcast. So if you ever do gratitude, then let me know. Do comment. And if you're somewhere that I can't pull comments in, I apologize. I just can't see any. So I can see that a couple of people are on with me. So I'm happy and I'm grateful and appreciate the environment, nature, just being out in different environments. I love it. Absolutely love it. Do you love it? Just fueled by your soul. Hey, Daniel. Amen. Watching the surveys from Africa, Kenya. Pastor Daniel. Oh, welcome, Pastor Daniel. I don't believe that we've met. So welcome to the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast. And this is streaming out all over my socials. It seems like you're on Facebook. I'm not sure. I think on my page, on the Soul Guided Influencers page, I have people on there that I have not met. But welcome. So we are expressing gratitude, just being really grateful. It is Relationship Freedom Friday in my world. So I want to talk about that. And I want to support entrepreneurs in creating that life-work balance. So thank you for being here. Okay, grateful, spiritual freedom. I'm grateful that we can call people in and really make a difference. Regardless of differences, we can still come together and connect on a soul level. So I'm happy and I'm grateful. Financial freedom. What am I happy and grateful for financial freedom today? What's come up for me? I don't think anything's come right. I'm happy and grateful that there's no financial like worry or no financial, there's nothing in my mind like or pushing and pulling me. So I'm happy and grateful for that. All right, so the next segment is for the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast, and having that spiritual business success is how you launch your day, lead your day, and leave your day. And I'd said yesterday on Environmental Freedom Thursday that I will be just doubling down over this next week. I've put a couple of challenges in place to share with you how you start your spiritual business and to make money from that and build a business around that. So I've been organizing that in my community. So you're welcome to come in if that interests you in building your own platform as an author and an authority. So how you launch your day, lead your day is your legacy, right? That is the thing that you're going to leave in the world. And I was just having these conversations that I just really feel drawn to launch my day in a way that supports my big vision and mission, and lead my day and leave my day in that way. And over the last few days, I'd launched my day differently because I was in a different environment, and I led and left my day in a different way. And I'm glad that I'm back to, this space to just launch it in this way. So I got up and I haven't done all of my daily routine, to be fair, but I've done what I needed to do to support my big vision. So how will you launch your day? It's Relationship Freedom Friday. So I made a new connection and a new relationship today. And, like I say, I'm with my friend, and just, we've got a relationship that has lasted decades, and that it's massive. It's huge. Some people really don't have that, and so I feel really blessed. I've messaged my daughter and my soul daughter today, so just leading my day with the relationship with me and the relationship with you matters to me. So are you doing what you need to be doing in order to be in vibrational harmony with the vision that you have on your vision board? Daniel says, good. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So the next thing is taking action steps, or guided action steps. I say, you just feel in flow. So if you've got things relationships that you want to let go of, relationships that you want to heal, relationships that you want to improve, the relationship with you, just having downtime. So what 3 things can you do? And if you were with me on the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast for Relationship Freedom Friday last week, if you wrote 3 things down, did you do those things? And if you didn't, let's set some intentions. Let's visualize actually the relationship with myself and the relationship with others, being loving, being kind, and, that gratitude is expressing that, you're grateful, and it helps us to vibrate at a higher frequency rather than like spiraling down, where like love and empowerment and freedom and joy, like there needs to be more of that in the world. And that's one of the things that I learned over the last few days, actually, was if you are not happy within yourself, it's time to work on that, because when people are around you and around that energy, it impacts you it impacts others, sorry, so greatly. I think it's really time for us to take responsibility for our own energy and our own thoughts. And we know thoughts are energy, right? Take responsibility for our own energy and the energy that we're actually putting out and that we are emitting. And so, what are the steps to raise your own vibration over this next week? Do you have some? Hopefully you do. So the next thing is playing the soul income game. So on the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast, I like to say that this journal, at least I've got my journal now, right? I call it the Soul Legacy Journal. It's a notebook. It's 365 days of your spiritual awakening story, a co-created soul path to spiritual alchemy for light workers. And so I say this journal gives you £1,000, dollars or euros every single day for you to play the soul income game with me. And so really the Bank 50K in 50 Days Challenge for spiritual entrepreneurs who have a business, who want to receive that soul client income and have that soul family influences, that soul tribe impact. It's really about trying on the essence of that, tithing 10% of your money. So it gives you £1,000, dollars or euros wherever you are in the world, and we tithe 10%. So my worthy causes are compassionate friends and the kinship foster caring, right? And then we have 900 to spend on the things that are on your vision board. Almost guaranteed, if you've done the vision board, things cost money, right? And so it's coming from that place of having a prosperity consciousness rather than a poverty consciousness, rather than lack. And so it's trying on. So if you were to spend your vibrational money voucher today, what would you spend it on? If it's relationships, like date nights, date days, a holiday, what would you spend it on? Rather than feeling like that lack and that limitation, the Seven Freedoms frequency is about elevating your vibrational frequency, like meaning it's done, it's created, we've asked, and it will be given. And trusting and having faith in that. And so if you don't feel like spending the money today, you can always spend it with me on Financial Freedom Sunday. And so we tithe to a worthy cause, and then we can carry over the money until Sunday, but we have to spend it on Sunday. That's the game. The rules are we don't pay bills because they're already taken care of. Taxes, savings, that's all taken care of. Just have fun. Money is not the root of all evil. Money is a tool to have experiences. And as a spiritual entrepreneur, we want to have as many as a light worker, we want to have as many experiences that we can. And, fostering, when I was fostering, like it needed money. The kids, 3 of them, they needed money. They needed clothes. They needed feeding. We wanted to be taken out. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, well, and then passing that legacy down of we don't need money is not good to do to our children. That is what my belief is. All right, so that's the soul income game. The next segment is the book, which I've talked about, the 5 love languages. Do you know what your love language is? This is essential. And so I said the soulmate connection that I had, that I'd manifested back. I'm like, why? I bought him the book, the men's version, and I actually happened to give another version to my ex-husband like a couple of months ago. And whoever I am going to get married to will know about how to love me the way that I want to be loved, because that wasn't it, right? I know that he's not my husband, my future husband, my husband, because I know how I want to feel. And if somebody is not interested in learning to love you the way that you can receive it, it's definitely not my dude. Like that's a hard, absolute no deal breaker for me. And we've talked about it. I even put him in my book. yeah, we talked about it. So I am still on the dating app. I was on Hinge and talking to somebody else, and they'd stated their love language. So before I even go on a date, it's like, dude, you've got to do your love language. He did it, but it's living it, right? Knowing and having knowledge of something is very, very different. And knowing the five love languages as well. They've got a men's version, a singles version, a children's version, a teenage version. It helped me to love up on the kids that I was fostering even more. And knowing my own love language was massive. So if you don't know the five love languages, they are quality time, physical touch, acts of service, uh, words of affirmation, and gifts. And I always do gifts last because it is zero for me for gifts. It really is. But I was listening to Acts of Service, and Dr. Garen Chapman was saying in the book today, the part that I was listening to today, that a couple had come to him and they had the same love, because I'm like, I just want somebody with the same love language as me and be done. And this couple had the same love language, but they were still not on the same page. They spoke a different dialect within the same love language. I'm like, oh, why does it have to be so complicated? Like, why are we not taught this at school? It's like the highest vibration is love. So why is like love like not so easy, you know? That loving ourselves is like the most challenging thing, right? So for me, it's learning to love me and teaching other people how to love me. And my love language is quality time. My top love language is quality time and quality conversation. And if I'm not getting that, I don't feel loved. My love tank feels empty. And so in this process of, the moving and the doing all the things, I've been having that quality time with myself, loving me the way that I want to be loved. You know what I mean? And understanding that. And I do, and I'm filling up my own cup, and just feels amazing. So what is your love language? If you don't know it, get to know. Definitely get the book. I really recommend it. The card for today. Oh, the card for today. I pulled a card from Keepers of the Light from Cal Gray. And this is the card for today. It is White Eagle Ancestor Spirit. Hello for a relationship. Thank you. I'm always looking up. It says, connect to your lineage. Absolutely. A family wound or pattern can be healed now. And I think it's about the relationships with like the marriages and stuff, because like I'm just saying. And then let me clean it. Just the picture. That's my son and I. My son has passed 8 years ago. It's crazy to even just not having him in physical form, but he's always in front of me. And the way that I came across these oracle cards is I got them, and then this card reminds me of my son a lot. And the guy, Carl Gray, said to everybody, like, have a look in the deck and see if you can see a family member. Like, I don't think you can actually get closer than that, to be fair. And Daniel's hair wasn't even normally like that. So I'm like, thanks, son. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. So I'm giving back. I'm doing my thing. And building that relationship with me, and just being here and sharing my journey with you is a big carry deal for me. So I want to leave you with inviting you to the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network for YouTube podcasting partnerships for spiritual entrepreneurs with a movement. It's a free monthly networking call that we can come together and we can co-create and we can connect and we can collaborate. And we can cross promote and have people rooting for your success. I'm super excited to get this back up and running. It was a networking call with spiritual business women before, and it was absolutely amazing. And I wanted to make it more niche and more specific. And so I'd love to have you on the call. All right. If you're not scheduled on, come and do the Bank 50K in 50 Days challenge, obviously. And we'll start that on the calls just to hold you accountable for building your, what I call your author and your authority platform. You'll see when you schedule, the link again is in the show notes. If you go onto the soullegacyacademy.com, there's a link on there as well, a clickable link. And when you go onto that call, you'll see there's a free chapter of my book, there's a masterclass, there's free resources that will help you if you are a spiritual entrepreneur who has a movement. We don't have to do it alone. It's amazing to build relationships that we really truly connect with, and building lifelong soul connections. Like, my friend had heard me talking on the phone, and she's like, yeah, I heard you chatting. And I was like, yeah, I've never met this lady who I was talking to. When the people are right coming into your life, it will feel right, and you'll know, and it'll just lock in. And that's kind of the manifestation of my husband. I'm waiting for that to just, I'll know like I know, like I know, and he'll know like he knows, like he knows. So your girl is on it. And if you know, dude, send him my way. No, I'm playing. I'm playing. Don't have people DM me. I'm joking. Right. That is it. That is me for the Seven Frequency podcast, living an intentional life, having more life work balance as a spiritual entrepreneur at the Soul Legacy TV, Spiritual Business Success with Iona. So hopefully this episode has inspired you, made you think about your soul family and your soul tribe and that influence that we have in the world, because it's huge. It's huge. So that is it. And I want to say, share your voice. No, I had this yesterday, and shine your light. Yeah, share your voice and shine your light, because you are born to serve. Big love. Take care.